Hey guys, it's Live La Nina, and today we're going to be taking a look at Sorcerous Stabber Orphen. Now this is like an anniversary re-imaging reboot of Orphen, which originally debuted in Japan in 1998 and in the United States around 2001. And now it's streaming. This new series is streaming on Hulu, so you're going to be able to take a look at it if you're interested. But today I'm going to let you know my honest opinion of the show, so stay tuned. Okay, so first we're going to take a look at the characters. To start off, of course, we have Orphen. He is the protagonist of the series. He was an orphan, like the name suggests, and he was learning sorcery at the Tower of Fangs, but he ended up leaving. But he's a great leading character. He's very strong. His real name is Krylancelo.
Krylancelo. いや、今はオーフェンか。
That's his real name. I completely butchered it, but yeah, you get the point. So that's him, and we get to follow him on his journey of actually finding his best friend, who is Azalie. Now, Azalie is an interesting character. I'm gonna say that we meet her as she's getting turned into a dragon, which kind of sets up the premise for the entire show. Okay, now on to the other characters. We have Claiomh, who Orphen meets very early on, like in the first or second episode, and she insists on coming with him on his journey. They bicker a lot, but of course it's very obvious to see that they're shipped together. So then we have Majic, who is a friend of Claiomh, who becomes Orphen's apprentice, and he comes along for the ride. And then we have two interesting characters. They are brothers, Volkan and Dortin, and they essentially provide comedic relief. They usually pop up and always find some way to get in the way of Orphen and what he has going on. Another very important character is Leki, and that is actually a deep dragon who they find during their travels. And even though it appears to be a baby, it's actually really powerful and really perspective. And Leki saves Claiomh and Orphen numerous times. The last character that I'm going to specifically highlight is Childman. He is was Orphen's master while he was at the Tower of Fangs, and he essentially taught him pretty much everything that he knows. And that's important because many people thought, and some people feared, that Orphen was the only one who could even come close to Childman, which for some people is good, the people on his side, but you know, there's always enemies and antagonists in shows, so you can imagine that would not be good for other people. But he was a very important part of Orphen's development, and I'll get into that later when I discuss my feelings about how the show went. Alright, now as far as the show, it starts off with Azalie being turned into a dragon. You know, they were trying to recover a sword that ended up going wrong. And essentially, the first conflict begins with Orphen not wanting them to try to harm or kill Azalie, but they tell him, you know, she's not the Azalie that you used to know. She's a dragon now. She's a threat. They think that they get rid of Azalie by destroying the dragon, but they actually don't, and she continues to pop up for the rest of the series. Azalie is there from the first episode to the last. One thing that I think this anime does really well is character development. Now it's not long, it's maybe first season is maybe like 12 to 14 episodes, somewhere in there, but I think we get a great development as far as Orphen. We see him in the tower, you know, in Childman's class, developing his bond with Azalie. We see him leave. We see him as this vigilante outlaw that he's painted to be, especially when he's going against everybody else who wants to kill Azalie as a dragon and he does not. We see a lot of this develop really, really well. And that was the point I was leading to about Childman. You can see through flashbacks that Orphen learned a lot from Childman. He looked up to him, and we definitely see that he has a lot of respect for him. And Childman believed in Orphen. He thought Orphen, was going to be very powerful, but he had a lot to learn. And that was kind of the downfall in Orphen leaving the tower to begin with.
黒魔術が物質に作用するのに対し、白魔術は精神に作用する。
So another thing about this anime is it kind of packs a lot in, which for some people is good. For me, it was a little off-putting at times because we see a lot of different things happen. There's distress between different groups, different classes within the Tower of Fangs. There's a lot of secrets that come out, a lot of things Orphen learns about himself. There's even an assassin who looks like Orphen, might be Orphen, which is kind of interesting. But there's a lot of different mini plots, but it's not a bad watch. It's not slow. There's action every episode. I wouldn't recommend skipping any. Some of them might be less important than others, but they all have lots of stuff going on. So if you can keep up, I think it's a good watch. I enjoyed it. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm going to go back and watch the original. I'm not going to say that. But I did really like it, and I think they're going to make another season because I think the original one was 2 seasons. And if they do, I will definitely watch the second season. It was a good watch. They're good characters, and I think that the anime was made really well. But like I said, if you're one of those people where you kind of want a main plot and maybe like one subplot, this one might not be for you because there is a lot that happens. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll be back with a movie review next time.